Hey everybody. I've been on YouTube for 8 years now. I've talked about every subject I could possibly imagine. I've gone from a short hair buzz cut to a long hair, back to short hair, back to long hair, and all the while I very much enjoyed the ride. YouTube has been a very interesting place over the past several years. A good place to share our ideas, our information, things that we're thinking about. And I just feel so let down by YouTube as a platform. And I'd like to go through the reasons why. I've kind of bit my tongue about this over the last year and I haven't said much. And I've realized why. YouTube, once it was bought out by Google, of course Google only intends to make money. Regardless of their motto, which I believe is do no evil, if I'm not mistaken. I don't believe they intentionally do evil, but rather evil is a byproduct of our greed. And when profits are involved, every company always gets too large and ends up becoming greedy. Now, Google, for example, if you are to look up any information about YouTube and YouTube creators, a lot of the information is positive and talks about how to get more money and how these creators and influencers and how to make money on YouTube. Now, as I said, I've been doing this for a long time, and I've realized that I've been a little bit, I guess, I haven't been as forward as I should be as a creator. And it's because I have undervalued my own work. The things I've talked about, the amount of research I've done, the amount of thinking and time I've done and taking notes so I can sit and put up a whiteboard and behind me, which most people don't even know exists. A lot of the time I have a large dry erase board where I have my notes. And sometimes I don't. I just talk about what's on my mind. But you know what? When I started this channel 8 years ago, I was more or less sitting in the same spot. In fact, I found an older video where I had the same flag, the Oregon state flag behind me. It was my grandfather's. It's an old school flag. But it's weird looking back at myself that many years ago and thinking, here I am still talking about stuff. And I think, well, my channel has only grown so much, but that's just the way it goes, right? And I think, well, it's nothing I've done or not done. It's I haven't promoted my channel enough. Maybe I haven't grown fast enough because, maybe my content sucks. Maybe it's only for a select few. And to be honest, what I've told myself over the past 8 years is that my content is only for a few people and most people don't give a shit. Instead of saying, well, perhaps YouTube is only sponsoring larger and more popular channels. There was a time, what they called the YouTube Golden Age, which was about 2011 to 2016. And in that time, a lot of people made a ton of ad revenue. We've got like PewDiePie and a variety of other content creators which make between $10 and $25 million a year. Yeah, I mean, Ryan's Toy Reviews, the channel of a kid reviewing toys, makes about $22 million a year, is what I read. And guys like PewDiePie make about like $12 to $15 million per year. And I'm not here to say there's anything wrong with that. If you can make a huge profit off of doing what you love, so be it. The problem I have is that it's not fair for the smaller content creators when YouTube decides overnight that they are going to start sponsoring the larger channels, say Late Night with Seth Meyers or Stephen Colbert, and they will post these in their top feed, in their, suggested list or in the recommended list, or maybe it's in what's hot or what's popular. A recent YouTuber, I mentioned this in a previous video, Coffee Break is the name of the channel. He kind of dissected this over a 7-month period. He looked at all these different statistics, which channels were watched and how much, and found out that yes, the smaller YouTubers are being forced out by the larger conglomerates and companies. And I'm so ashamed that I've spent so much time on YouTube making the effort to make videos, talk about all the things I have, and that I've undervalued my own work, thinking that maybe it's the people aren't interested in what I have to say. And then finding out so many people are interested, but YouTube fails to promote any viewer. And who am I to say? I have under 20,000 viewers, but subscribers, that's not very many subscribers. Some people have 1 million. But I think about that in context. You know, even if a few hundred people watch my video, that's a few hundred people. That's like I'm standing in front of a church, and I take it seriously. I don't sit here and mess around and make stupid videos for shock value. And that's what I'm talking about here. The ones that YouTube does promote, the variety of videos, is bullshit. Like Logan Paul, in the past anyway, who, you know, I'm sorry, but the guy's just a douchebag. You know, you can have as much amazing editing as you want, but if your content and your information sucks, like his does, it's really hard to support that and say, well, yeah, this guy's should be a millionaire, while the rest of YouTube should not be, you know, it should just be ignored. Well, the minute that Logan Paul fucked up and filmed some guy in the woods hanging from a tree in Japan, in the suicide forest, all these content creators started getting hit. And I guess PewDiePie did something similar. I don't know the specifics. I don't have anything against either guy. It's just that here we have millionaires who still have to make more money, so they do something so shocking that it fucks over every other YouTuber, right? And so it goes on down the line and everybody complains about it. And here I am biding my time saying, well, I'm still a small YouTuber. I don't really care. Why should I care? So along this, this process in the last few years, a ton of channels have been demonetized. And a lot of people have complained about that. And like I said, the whole time I've bit my tongue because I've never monetized my channel. I tried once. I enabled the monetization on my channel, and I put some ads, and then I just felt like an idiot, and so I canceled them. And a bunch of people, my subscribers, were like, you should put ads on there, you should make something off your channel, it's okay. And then I decided, well, I'll start a Patreon account. And I thought, maybe I can raise money that way, to do what I want to do. It failed. I've had Patreon for the last 2.5 years maybe, and it was up to $122 a month. Now it's down to like under 100, which you can't live on $100 a month. So, do I expect to make more? No, of course not. What are my options? To sell out? To sell a product? I read an article today that said that famous people, say, that have a YouTube channel with at least 100,000 subscribers, up to 1 million subscribers, can make, on average, $12,500 per post about a product. And the term influencer only really appeared over the last couple of years. I'm so sick of watching videos where the last 3 minutes of it is somebody trying to sell me somebody's fucking VPN, or somebody trying to sell some healthcare product or something that you know they don't support or give a shit about. But there's nothing wrong with that. Let me just say this. If somebody spends 100 hours making a video and they have to sponsor that in order to pay for it, so be it. That's fine. But it shouldn't be a 3-minute video with a 2-minute commercial in that video, where the video itself says absolutely nothing. And this is what I see over and over. Channels like Pop Science, Pop Psychology, all these garbage channels are the only ones that ever make it to the top, or makeup tutorials, things like that. But of course, we also have late night, the mainstream. These are people who have production teams of hundreds of people who spend, countless hours prepping and getting ready for these videos. So the videos are already polished and ready. You take late night, put it on YouTube, you're good to go. So if you promote that video, you're going to get views. People are going to wake up the next morning and want to say, oh, what was on last night? And they're going to watch late night. The thing is that I understand that from a profit motive. But YouTube, I thought that you were all, supporting your creators. But once it was bought out by Google, I guess I shouldn't expect miracles. But the low quality content, shit like Logan Paul, just because it's edited and polished, if you talk shit about it, people say, oh, well, you're just a hater or you're jealous because they've done well on YouTube. And all I can say is, no, that's not true at all. Look at the content. What are they actually bringing to the table? How are they helping the youth? I read an article that said that Logan Paul faked his death as some kind of prank stunt that he put on his channel. And I thought, what about all the 10-year-old kids who are watching this prank? Regardless of whether it's true or not. Is that responsible? Why is YouTube promoting it? But the thing is, YouTube will do anything for views, and that's my main point. They will ban any channel that talks about something controversial. But if that channel has millions of views, they will think twice. And for some reason, they will allow the larger channels to get away with talking about the same shit. Late night will be able to cuss and say shit or fuck, but it will be demonetized if it's on any other channel. And so, I guess my question to YouTube, if there were any YouTube people out there who are actually involved in the company itself, I would ask you, how can you legitimately say that you're supporting creators? And how can you not realize that creators built this platform? We are the ones that made it what it is. And so when YouTube complains about not making enough profits, all I can say is, who should really be making the profits? What exactly, how many staff do you need to man YouTube? What it comes down to is that you need more and more staff in order to monitor YouTube because you want to make it appealing to advertisers. If you eliminate the advertising aspect, then of course people can't make money the same way. So it's kind of a conundrum. I get that. But, basically this is the thing I've realized about corporations, companies. Bigger britches equals less fucks given. In other words, the bigger a company is, the less they have to answer to anybody in particular, any specific person. Same goes for police forces, governments, anything. But what's not realized is, like I said, they have a production team for a lot of these larger, companies that make these things, late night shows and whatnot. But for us, a creator, it may not seem like I'm even creating anything. Oh, it's just a guy in front of a camera. But you need lighting, background, microphones, cameras. You need to be able to upload it and edit, and that takes time, even if it's not that edited, and maybe that's why I never took myself seriously. I'm like, well, I just talk about stuff and put it on YouTube. I don't do all this fancy editing. And the more videos I watch, the more I realized how much garbage there is out there that's just fancily edited. I hate pop science and psychology now. Well, what would happen if are there minuscule black holes on Earth? Or what would happen if what would happen if you fell into a black hole, all these crazy fancy graphics that they talk about how we spent months making this video, and if you could just donate to the Patreon, hey, that's great. But some of these people are making a lot of money and the content is lacking. So I guess it's okay to feel a little bit jaded if you're a creator that talks about important shit in your own eyes, I guess. And that's my perspective. It takes time to edit, it takes time to film things, all these different aspects, but I thought about this, okay? Over the past 8 years, I've made about 3,500 videos. Just on, average that's what's on my channel. I deleted a lot and I have some of my other channels, but let's just say 3,500, and let's average those out at 10 minutes a video. And all of y'all know that I talk for like 20 minutes. Let's just say at 10. There's about 3,600 videos. If you add up the time in the day, 3,600 minutes is how much time's in the day. So that means that a 36,000 minutes that I have on YouTube, minimum, would be a total of 10 days of me sitting and talking to the camera. 10 days straight. But a lot of my videos are 20 minutes. So we're talking more like a half a month at least that I've talked to the camera. And then I think about the ones that I deleted or didn't upload. It blows my mind because time is money. It's time I could be doing other things. So I start to give myself a little bit more credit for it, but still a little bit insecure because over the years you see my channel will start growing And then all of a sudden it will stagnate. And my views will go down, and I'll look at the statistics and say, why? What did I say, or what did I do? And when you start to realize it wasn't you, but it was the YouTube algorithms and the bullshit, you say, well, fuck. This video will never trend. I might as well cuss. And it becomes kind of a battle back and forth between free speech and the ability to grow your channel, right? I think that the people are the future, but my model is based on, my own truth. And I never expected anything from YouTube. That's the thing. I'm not here complaining saying I should make more money, because I don't make shit. But if I were a YouTuber that was depending on ad revenue, and they cut my ad revenue because I talked about something that Disney didn't like. And let me tell you, fuck Disney. The other day they released a commercial. It was an unreleased. It was a released scene from the new Captain Marvel. I guess it is. It's a woman, and I guess this dude's hitting on her, and it's a whole controversial thing. It's supposed to be empowering women, but the dude's hitting on her and talking to her, and he holds her hand out to shake her hand, and she crushes his hand, says, "Give me your jacket," and she steals his motorcycle, and she's the hero. And so a lot of people complained about this, and so they made YouTube videos talking about it and putting a little clip of what happened in their video. All of them got not just demonetized, but they got their videos blocked and removed from YouTube because Disney complained. But Disney did not complain about a single video that supported it. There were a lot of channels who uploaded the whole trailer and just showed it outright with no narrative, and they left it. And you're only left to think, well, YouTube is catering to Disney's bullshit. I hate Disney. With what they've done to Star Wars, everybody should. But, of course I still watch some of their old movies and whatnot. It's just, it's a very difficult thing to deal with. Having so many large companies that try to mute people who are just criticizing the obvious factor that, yeah, this woman just assaulted a man and took his motorcycle, stole his shit, and she's supposed to be Captain Marvel, Captain America, saving the day, and I think Disney got called out on their gender-biased politics, and everybody just throws these big fits about things, but the main point was the fact that they actually are muting people from even talking bad about something that is obviously bullshit. So, it's funny because these influencers can get paid tens of thousands or more to post one article about some particular product, right? And it's not that the person really cares about that product, but when a person makes one particular video, let's say, and they grow their channel from that video, if it's a good subject matter, they can grow it. You might see, for example, the ratio of subscribers to videos as well as to views on one video. So you'll see somebody who has 1 million views on a video in the recommended list, but their channel has 3 subscribers. So let me give you that as an example to say what YouTube's doing is not promoting the creators who have been working for a long time to gain subscribers, but rather whatever makes them the most money. And who are we to say that there's anything wrong with that? It's a capitalist mentality, but I don't know. I read something earlier that said 75% of all kids between 8 and 17 years old want to be a famous YouTuber when they grow up. Just think about that for a minute. It's interesting because what I read is 1.4 million viewers. If you were to have 1.5 million viewers to your channel on YouTube, you're at the poverty line. I think that they make about $17,000 a year. And 3% of YouTubers get 90% of the traffic. So let me repeat that. 3% of YouTubers' channels get 90% of all the traffic and views from YouTube. And that makes us, the content creators, feel pretty shitty. So 90% of all YouTubers, 96.5 I think percent of YouTubers are at or below the poverty level. And that includes a lot of the, people who work really hard at the channels. So I'm standing up for my content, I guess. I'm saying that, I'm calling YouTube out and saying that, hey, a lot of people out here really give a shit about what we're making, and we care about helping the world, helping each other. And when we're pushed to the back, we feel belittled and ridiculed and kind of worthless. And I found that it does hurt my self-esteem to an extent to think that I've spent this long making videos and I still haven't figured out how to make a living off of it. But then I start feeling arrogant. The minute I say that, I think, oh, well, you should be working, right? Because that's what everybody's told you. This is my work. This is what I like to do. I like to learn and research and discuss. And I put a lot more care into my thoughts than people might think. But anyhow, that's my hubris speaking, right? Well, fuck it. I don't care. I'm just tired of not being able to. I guess it's important to speak my mind and how I truly feel. And I think all of y'all know that. And so, be well. I'll talk to you soon. Let me know what you think, of course. And I guess what I'm saying is YouTube sucks. And it's depressing. But I have nowhere else to go. It's almost like you're being kicked out of a club that you were a member of, that you really enjoy. But it's just not suiting you anymore. And that's the only way to talk to your old friends. So I wish that a new platform would come around. And I hope somebody comes up with something. But I don't have my fingers crossed because, like I said, anything that grows too large, anything that goes mainstream, ends up being owned and profitized, monetized by some larger entity that wants to buy it up. And by God, I hope this, the whole system just falls apart sometimes, because one day I hope that we go, pull ourselves out of this bullshit and live in a utopian future. The next day I say that's complete nonsense. There's no fucking way that we're ever going to get out of this crap unless the lights go out, literally. And I only say that because I kind of yearn for an EMP. YouTube was kind of down earlier, and I was reading something, because I was watching the solar flare last night. It was a time lapse, one of the YouTubers I follow does. And I was like, well, it's not an Earth-facing solar flare, but I wonder if it'll have any effect. And then YouTube was all weird today around the world, and a few other things, Snapchat, Instagram, bullshit. I don't use those. Instagram is a market. I guess it's the new shopping mall is what I read. It's a perfect description. But anyhow, I'm out. That's all I got to say. I just wanted to kind of rant about it. I hope that didn't come across pretentious or arrogant on my part. I know those of you who have been with me from the beginning, and I'd love to give names because I have all y'all in my head, like the pictures of some of the people who have commented here and there that have been with me since the beginning, and I'm talking like 2011. There was a time when I was talking about 2012 and whether the shit was going to hit the fan, but it was really only 2013 or so when my channel got going. But now it's been almost 6 years since then, 8 years total, and I've really enjoyed the ride. And I hope I can continue it, and I will do it for free, as I always have. But it's like, if you put a percentage of your life into it, like 8 years, you think, God damn it. Am I wasting my time doing this? Why do I love this so much and not make a damn dime off of it? I'll figure that out in the future. Take care, everybody. Talk to you later.